Alright guys, here we go. We're going to give the engine restore a quick try here. We have our battery nice and charged on the Simplicity, and we're going to go ahead and do our cold compression test, so stand by. Alright guys, so not so great. We did not hit anywhere close to 90. We're actually on the low side of 80, a little under 80, and it took a lot for it to get up there. We have a good battery, fresh battery. And we also have it on the, we call it a trickle charger for over 24 hours. And we also had it on the battery start function, which I believe is either a 75 or 90 amp. So we'll see what the restore does. All right guys, so we're gonna do a final test of the bars leak. Fuel is shut off, and just so you can see that I'm not favoring the bars leak. Temperature is around 55 degrees. It hasn't been ran in over 24 hours, so that's pretty close to the air temperature. And we're gonna go ahead and try it, see how she does. Let's look at that, see. Well, first off, I can tell that it is slightly higher. It's a little bit above 80 now. Before it was just below 80, so I mean, I guess that's a considerable improvement. It's probably leaning a little bit closer to 85, which I mean, anything on an engine this old is definitely an improvement. I was hoping to see more between 8 to 10 psi, but I mean, I would say that's a solid improvement. All the variables are the same. We've charged the charger overnight. We had it on our 95 amp starting charger, or starting setting. And throttle blade is 100% open, choke is off. So not a huge improvement, but there's definitely something to it. And yes, this is an old Simplicity. I did not expect to see a significant improvement. Project Farm does a lot of these tests. If you haven't followed him, I strongly suggest it. He does a lot more scientific approach, and I just wanted to try this to see if it would make a difference. And yeah, I would say it's a slight improvement. He has a far better testing system. He has a viscosity tester and some other things that he applies. And I really do encourage anybody to follow him that's interested in this. But anyway, one more down and we'll have some more coming soon. Thanks again. All right guys, here we go. So let's get to the subjective part of this video. As you can tell, like always, I am working. So we're just gonna dive into it. The biggest thing that I noticed about this is that the engine does seem to run a little stronger and start slightly easier. Now, we did run the compression test over again one more time just to verify the results, and the average was about 4 to 5 psi higher than where it was prior to the product being applied. With that being said, it's not a huge amount. So if you're looking for this to fix an engine that has dramatically low compression, probably not the product for you. If you have blown out rings or, I don't know, valves that are not seating properly, it's probably not going to counteract those kind of issues. Those are mechanical issues, and this is not going to fix it. Now, what I will say is if you have some slight wear on your cylinder walls, it may be worth trying. You know, it may help you a little bit. This engine did not really burn any oil, so I couldn't really test that aspect of it. But the gauge speaks for itself, and being 4 to 5 psi higher, that's an increase, and it's actually an increase of about 7 to 8%, which is pretty much what the product says it does. So this one is still up to a lot of debate. It's not as definitive as some of the air tests that we've done, such as the bars leak, stop leak, but I would say that it is a slight improvement. Would I use this every day? Probably not. Maybe if I had a little beater that just was a little bit low on compression, I need to get it by another year or two. It might be something I'd use, you know, every other oil change or something like that. But I will say that the engine restore does seem to have a positive impact on the engine. We're going to continue monitoring it. We'll leave it in the comments as far as if there are any changes, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. All the way.